Is the corporate tax hike that was originally proposed, is that pretty much dead now? Can we expect to see it in reconciliation? And is there anything else that President Biden plans to offer when he speaks with the senator today?
Well, since you gave me the opportunity, Trevor, I think there's an important note here. One is that we didn't talk a lot about the book line taxes that the president talked about yesterday, that we've talked about a little bit yesterday, the 15% tax that these companies, we're asking these companies, or we think these companies should pay, that pay no tax. That was in his original American Jobs Plan proposal. It was in the lengthy fact sheet. I'm sure Reuters wrote many stories about. So that was a component that we didn't have a lot of a public debate about, but it has been something he talked about on the campaign. It's in our budget. It was in his American Jobs Plan proposal. In terms of the corporate tax increases, that was also proposed and certainly has been more of a public component of our discussion. That's something he continues to believe corporations can pay more money, that's a way to fund his bold ideas. There are a lot of ideas that he wants to move forward on, whether it's extending the child tax credit, universal pre-K, proposals that he has put forward in the American Families Plan, which we are looking forward to having a continued discussion about. And there are also a range of pay-fors he has proposed.
And that 15% minimum that you just brought up, is that, did you bring that up because that's something that Yellen is pursuing on the international stage?
No, separate. I'm glad you asked that question. Separate issue. I know it's confusing because the 15-15. Separate issue. There is a discussion, as you noted, on the global stage about a global minimum tax. But this is a proposal the president talked about on the campaign trail. He proposed in his American Jobs Plan and also in our budget that would require, would have companies that didn't pay any tax, wouldn't allow them to pay zero tax. And so we see it as a separate entity. We still believe the tax rate should be higher than that, as the president has proposed for a corporate rate. Go ahead, Josh.
Can you give us a sense of what your expectations are for their discussion? Is it by phone, for instance, with Senator Capito?
Oh, sure.
And are we any near the decisional process for a point for the president?
Sure. So they will be talking by phone, President and Senator Capito this afternoon. He'll also be talking with Congressman DeFazio, and we will be doing readouts of those conversations. They're happening this afternoon as we speak, perhaps, but we will provide readouts. I'm not going to obviously prejudge conversations, but I would say for the conversation with Senator Capito, they've had good faith discussions. There are areas where, of course, the president has priorities where he'd like to see more, including more investment, but also areas including electric vehicle investments, rebuilding veterans hospitals, and that's part of the discussion as well as pay-fors. And as Trevor just asked about, but as we talked about yesterday, what the president put forward, he looked at all of his tax proposals, and what he put forward are ways to pay for an infrastructure proposal that shouldn't cross any bar or line for Republicans in the Senate who say they won't touch the 2017 tax plan. So I think the question really on that front is, do you think these companies should pay no tax at all? Or 15%, which is very valuable, supported by 85 or 84% of Republicans in the country.
Does the president believe he's running out of time to try to reach a deal, or is there runway left?
There's runway left. He's going to have these discussions. There are Democrats and Republicans who are talking with each other. We're going to engage with them as well and continue to have a discussion with a range of interested leaders in Congress about how we can come together to make a historic investment in infrastructure. There are some realities of timelines, including the fact that Congressman DeFazio is leading the markup of key components of the American Jobs Plan next week, key infrastructure components where there is a big overlap. There is a lot of interest and excitement by many Democrats in Congress about that. So it's not unlimited, but we have an opportunity. He's going to talk to Senator Capito this afternoon. We're going to see how those conversations go. We're going to keep a range of pathways open to move these bold ideas forward.